This mute. This meeting is being live streamed. You have got it.
Hello, sir. Anyone response? Hello. 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 Hello, Saidired and hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Favorite అండి.
సరే ఇక్కడ అందరు మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టుకున్నారేంటి? హలో.
ఆఫ్ చేసి సార్ మీరు ఆన్లో ఉంది సార్.
నేను వీళ్ళందరూ చెప్పాలి కదా మనకు ఎలా మొత్తం మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టుకుని ఏం చేస్తాను.
అదే ఇంకా వీడియో స్టార్ట్ కాలేదని చెప్పేసి ఆఫ్లో పెట్టాను సార్.
ఓకే ఓకే
ఓకే.
స్టార్ట్ టైం ఎప్పుడు సార్?
11:30.
సార్ గుడ్ మార్నింగ్. హలో రఘువీర్ సార్, రఘువీర్ గారు ఆడియబుల్?
Are we good to start?
Good morning. We'll be starting.
Very good morning. I can't see you.
Yeah. I'm here. Just waiting for the participants to join. Raghuveer garu.
क्या कर रहे थे? Zoom meeting है? Picture group में explore What? It's audio. Audio is audio. You mute and అవి వద్దు మీరు పైకి వద్దులేండి ఫస్ట్ ఎందుకు ఇప్పుడు వెళ్తున్నా 6th కి మాట్లాడలేదు అదేమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ లేదు లేదు సంథింగ్ అక్కడ చేస్తాం మేడం మ్యూట్ అందుకే ఆగిపోయింది అన్మ్యూట్ ఉందని ఆయన చెప్పడం ఆగిపోయింది all our blabbering is going
Good morning to all. Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor K. Siddharamarao garu, and today's speaker, Sri P. Raghuveer, IFS, Director College, Professor E. Siddharani Madam, Dean Faculty of Sciences, Professor Pushpa Chakrapani Madam garu, and Registrar Dr. Lakshma Reddy, and other directors, deans, heads of the branches, faculty members, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning, one and all. First, I wish to convey my wishes to all happy National Science Day. In the part of Faculty of Sciences, arranged this lecture to explore the science and technology utilization in society. In view part of this, today's lecture is on ensuring sustainable future. We are encounter even today sustainable living and development pose a significant challenge. Each day we are exposed to environmental risks, including depletion of natural resources, pollution, deforestation, e-waste generation, poor air and water quality, ozone layer depletion, and more. Now I request Dean Faculty of Sciences, Professor Pushpa Chakrapani garu to recite proceedings.
Okay, Dr. Pramila, thank you. respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Sitaram Rao Garu, Sri P. Raghuveer Garu, IFS, who is the keynote speaker of today, Registrar of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, Directors of all branches, Deans of all faculties, teaching, non-teaching, faculty members of Dr. BRAOU, my dear students, and the people and the faculty members, other people who are watching this program through Zoom. Very good morning to all of you, and you all welcome to this program. At the outset, my greetings to all of you on this National Science Day, which falls on 28th of February every year. In fact, our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sitaram Rao Garu, also wanted to be here on this day, but due to some urgent work in New Delhi, he is attending some other meeting. He also sent his wishes to all of us on this National Science Day. So I must thank Professor P. Raghuveer Garu for accepting our invitation to deliver a lecture on ensuring sustainable future. We all know that we are living in a very crisis situation now, because the entire world is facing environmental challenges. It could be air pollution, water pollution, or energy conservation, or maybe a depletion of natural resources. So all these contributed to the environment to support a quality of human life for sustainable future. So it is our responsibility as a human being to maintain the natural resources. So, Sir Raghuveer Garu, we are very much excited to listen to you on this topic, which is very, very interesting. Sir, before starting your lecture, I would like to just introduce very briefly about our university. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University is the first open university in India, formerly known as Andhra Pradesh Open University, established in 1982. We have all types of courses, starting from certificate course to diploma courses to undergraduate courses, postgraduate courses, and also the research programs leading to the PhD programs. In almost all disciplines, we're offering the courses. Particularly all the science programs like botany, zoology, environmental science, physics, chemistry, mathematics, statistics, all these subjects are also teaching through distance mode by the Open University. So recently, Faculty of Science has created a forum, that is Forum for Science Awareness and Extension. So, and the idea behind this is to take science into the society, into the people, and making science more popular to the people and the society. So, under this program, under this forum, we have organized, we are organizing series of programs, and so far we have conducted 2 programs. One is cancer awareness, and the second one is biodiversity, human responsibility. The third one, which we are going to today, listening to you today, is ensuring sustainable future. So thank you very much for accepting our invitation to deliver a lecture. And also I congratulate the Department of Chemistry, Dr. P. Pramila, Dr. Rajani Garu, and Koteshwar Rao for taking up such a wonderful topic. Sir, I thank you very much once again. Now I request Dr. Rajani to introduce our speaker today.
Thank you, madam. We take pride in introducing today's speaker, Mr. P. I think this year on the 19th, we have completed the Yatra, and Mr. Raghuveer has succeeded in bringing the attention of the district administration on the irreparable damage caused to environment biannually. Eventually, district administration declared Jatra as eco-friendly Jatra due to his efforts. Mr. Raghuveer Konangi IFS is of 1984 batch, and I'm happy to tell you that he's from chemistry background, done his post-graduation from OU, Hyderabad. Apart from this, he does diplomas in wildlife management and human resource management. He is a trained Chief Information Officer from IIM Ahmedabad and retired as Principal Chief Conservator of Forests, PCCF, and Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Telangana State Forest Development Corporation Limited in 2020. As PCCF, he was looking after vigilance, research, IT, and public wings of the Forest Department. At the state level, he successfully steered the Jungle Bachao, Jungle Badao campaign. Earlier, as the director of the TS Forest Academy, Gulapalli, he has launched several path-breaking initiatives to ensure effectiveness of field officers. As an organizing secretary of APEC, he was instrumental in setting up a network of stakeholders working towards a better environment. His other postings include Additional Secretary, E-Governance, and EFS and D, that is Environment, Forest, Science and Technology. He successfully managed 2 bank-assisted projects in ICDS and forest sectors. He has been a jury member in several panels for selecting green initiatives, such as Green IT, E-Governance, E-Championship, etc. Now, ladies and gentlemen, join me in inviting Mr. P. Raghuveer IFS, an ardent environmentalist and a campaigner for invoking individual social responsibility, ISR, amongst citizens for a better environment. Mr. P. Raghuveer IFS Garu, I once again invite you to deliver your lecture on ensuring a sustainable future. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajini. And, I hope my voice is audible because I saw a chat message that voice is not clear when you're introducing the speaker. Is the voice clear enough? Yeah, maybe you have to unmute and then speak.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
I request Raghuveer Garu
Yeah.
to start your lecture, please.
Yeah, I'll start that. I just wanted to check the voice is clear and I got a confirmation the voice is clear. Okay, wonderful. And greetings to all of you on the occasion of
Raghuveer Garu.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, very much audible.
Raghuveer Garu mute lo unnaru.
లేదండి నాది ఆన్ లోనే ఉంది. Okay.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Am I audible now? Because when I asked previously, you said
Sir, not audible.
It is audible, sir.
Madam, it is audible.
Probably Ambedkar University headquarters area.
It is audible. All voices are audible.
Madam, audible, madam.
So headquarter IT cell may have to look. Right. Okay.
Biology కదా సార్ ఇది ఎట్లా సిస్టర్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ కావాలి అది ఎక్కడ ఉన్నా కూడా పక్క
So we have a lot of cross. If everyone can just mute, put them on mute. I think a few people are on. Okay, right. Okay. I hope now in the headquarters I'm audible. The system of Dr. Koteshwara Garu or Pushpa Chakrapani Garu. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir, you are audible, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for providing me this opportunity. And then my wishes to all of you on the National Science Day, which we are celebrating today. And can I have those people who are on the mute? They can mute their voice. There's a lot of background disturbance. The host can also take care of that. Yep. So that there is no. Okay, wonderful. So I think last year or so, sometime back, I was seeing one video documentary I think what was it, quantum scientists or something like that, right? It's a documentary. Yeah, there's a quantum scientist documentary, and there I found interesting anecdote about Dr. C.V. Raman, how he got the Nobel Prize, and that is where I think our session today starts, because he did so much of campaigning. In those days, there was nothing like email or mobile or phone connectivity, and everything has to be done by post. So he discovered the Raman effect, the light scattering, and then he was worried that others may also claim that they have discovered it, and then before he announces they will. So what he has done was he wrote to all the people concerned with the Nobel Prize Award committee, telling them, I have discovered this, and this year we should get a Nobel Prize. Almost for a couple of years, I think it took the campaigning and all. Finally, in 1930, he got the Nobel Prize for the Raman effect. And this shows something like a persistence, how persistent he was, how he was campaigning. You see, a lot of us do plenty of good work, but don't showcase, don't pursue to get it. So the major Nobel Prize for Raman got not only did the good work, but also projected it. So same thing applies to all the faculty and students of Ambedkar Open University. If you can project as documentations, I think it will be wonderful. So with that anecdote, I'll like to share my presentation for today's session. I hope the screen is visible to all of you. Yes. You can just put a thumbs up. So those who are on the video, I can at least see, yes, it is visible. All right. Right, wonderful. But still, I find few people have put their mic on the on mode. So kindly, if you can just switch off the mic, there won't be any background disturbance. Because a lot of background disturbance is happening because inadvertently somebody just put the mic on. So it becomes so, maybe from the central unit, if you have the facility, you can mute all those participants. You can see all the participants and then see, you can mute them. So what I would propose to do in this, still we have a lot of background noise happening. Yeah. So what we'll do is in this particular session, ensuring a sustainable future. Why should we ensure it? And secondly, what can we do about it? I think these are the issues I'll be exploring. And probably there will be some take-home lessons to all the participants at the individual level, as well as at the institution level. And probably what are the things you can do it. So we always have this philosophy in India that the world is one family, and very, very apt that sustainability is linked to that sort of thinking. I'll just give you a little bit of ancient wisdom, just to say how we were over the years treated nature with great amount of compassion. And then we were very sensitive to the environmental issues. Maintaining ecological balance or preserving environment was given paramount importance. So I still find a lot of background noise. Who is managing the Zoom conference? If you can just mute all except the speaker, probably I think that background noise can be cut off, because it will disturb not only me as I'm speaking, but also the people who are listening to it, both on the Zoom and as well as YouTube. right? And then we were vehicles sound. Okay, we were treating the everything like maybe water bodies or hills or trees as personification of the god, and then used to pray and probably worship them, and then we were actually expressing our gratitude towards nature. So what I'm saying is this is how things have been in our country over last several hundreds of years. And there was a tradition that every village should have a Mahavan, a Shrivan, and a Tapovan. A Mahavan is basically where you have a sort of a diverse forest ecosystem. Shrivan is where you actually grow trees for meeting your needs. And Tapovan is where it's a sanctum sanctorum sort of a thing, where nothing will be done. It will be place of prayer or something like that. So every village should have this Mahavan, Shrivan, and Tapovan, and then only it is considered as complete. And then we have seen the linkage between green cover and the water. I think this is a well-known saying, which says finally that if there's a one tree, it is equivalent to 10,000 wells. So that means so much of water is being recharged to the ground. And we know about our Bishnoi community in Rajasthan, where they have given their lives for protecting the trees. They have probably several written and documented ethics, and they are willing to actually see this is led by women. Amrita Devi Bishnoi.
One jar one. One jar one. 1 2 jar 2. 1 2 jar 2.
Okay, let us learn the table number 2. Someone is teaching us how to multiply 2.
1 5 jar 5. 1 6 jar 6. 1 7 jar 7. 1 7 jar 7. 8 jar 8. 1 8 jar 8. 1 9 jar 8.
Okay, finally. Yes. So people are doing multitasking. I think that's what is happening. That teaching their children as well as attending the video conference. If they are busy, they can actually go to YouTube instead of Zoom and then watch it. Unless there is an attendance requirement from Ambedkar Open University for all those people who. Right. Okay, right. I have unmuted. Right. Am I audible now? Yeah, just raise your thumb or something like that. Okay, great. So Amrita Devi Bishnoi led that particular crusade for saving the trees, which the king wanted to fell for construction of his new palace and making chuna and things like that for firewood purpose. And then they all gave up their lives. Almost more than 360 people died. And then the king finally said, we'll not cut even a single tree. Because their Bishnoi community feels that if you want to lose your head, it is cheaper for the sake of a tree. The theme for this year, as you know, is an integrated approach in science and technology for a sustainable future. So it's a very vast sort of a subject where we try to see how our future can be managed on a sustainable basis, taking advantage of the science and technology fields, which is there. But I just would like to just bring your attention to the Atharvana Veda. This is a famous one, Prithvi Sukta. If you Google it, you will find it. Almost 7,000 years back itself, it is very clearly mentioned there that Mother Earth will not overexploit you. We should be able to take only that much, which can come back to you. I should not pierce thy heart. So this is what we call a sustainable use of natural resources. So this was a caution given 7,000 years when world population was hardly anything. But still, the wise people then gave a warning that we need to be very aware of the limited resources that we have and then how we can use them on a sustainable basis. And then if you are looking at what exactly is sustainable sustainability, sustainable development, as people keep talking about. It's basically you don't want to compromise your children or grandchildren's ability to meet their needs. And then exploit the resources now itself. So you are supposed to be a trustee. You are supposed to probably keep something for your next generation or the generation after. It is basically called intergenerational equity principle, where we should see that we have not inherited this from our ancestors, but we actually borrowed it from our progeny, people of the next generation. So that's important thing to understand when we're talking about sustainability or sustainable development, or the 17 sustainable development goals that every country is committed to fulfill. Basically, if you are looking at sustainability, the 3 dimensions, it says, okay, yeah, we need always economy should grow, industry should come, and these viability of the initiative should be there. And then the benefits should be socially distributed, the equitable distribution. And then environmentally, it should be friendly. And then only all these things, social, economic, and environment, all these 3 dimensions are properly balanced, then we can call as a sustainable development model. And then just for an example, I've just seen that Forbes has given a report in terms of what can be done using technology in agriculture sector. As you know, that most of our earth is having either agriculture land or pasture land, which is 50% or more. And then a lot of water is consumed because of the water intensive crops, and they further contribute to the greenhouse gas emissions, apart from the liberal usage of chemicals, be it fertilizers or pesticides or other chemicals used to kill weeds. And we've seen FAO's report saying that livestock also contributes substantially to the greenhouse gas emissions, more than 15%. But here, what we can see is that technology can actually help. Maybe a few examples. There's lots of areas in which technology is being used and can be used also. Precision application equipment, which we all know as a drip irrigation sort of a thing, and then with the controlled monitors and all, you can actually, looking at the moisture levels, give only that much of water which is required for the plant, or even the chemicals wherever it is needed. And then, of course, we have seen these days a lot of areas where using drones for managing the agriculture practices. It will make it more environment friendly. And then there's basically, if we are able to control the adverse impact to the climate through agriculture sector using the technology, we would be ensuring that our rivers are not getting unduly polluted, or even the soil doesn't get contaminated. And then you will get safe food. These days, everyone is aware we go for organic food, and then we want to eat chemical-free food. That is what is preferred by the people, because the cost of health, because most of the cancers are caused reportedly by the food contamination. And this is something, an interesting report, and maybe the interested people can actually see it on the web. There's a agency, Nature Conservancy, which has brought out this. What it has done is there are 2 possibilities, scenario analysis that was done. If we all follow sustainable practices, what happens? And if it is business as usual, what happens? Just for example, let us look at air and climate. By fossil fuels, we are shifting. And then what happens on the temperature change? See, business as usual, if we are continuing like this, temperature change increase will be 3.2, but you can cut it down by 50% by 2100. Similarly, carbon dioxide emissions can be brought down. Air pollution exposure. This is an important thing, because this is again linked to human health. Tremendously, it can be brought down if we're using sustainable practices. Similarly, agriculture area, you can produce more from less area, consuming sort of a lesser resources, and then we can increase these area which is under forest or green cover, if we are having sustainable practices. You can see fisheries sustainability maximum. Actually, you will find a lot of studies on fisheries, where earlier there was a huge diversity of fish available in the marine areas, but today you will find less diversity, and also the size of the fish has also come down. So this particular report talks about what happens if you are following sustainable practices, and what happens if you go as per the current business as usual approach. And why I'm saying this is almost I think 60 years back, this particular report, again, because we are all chemistry department organizing, I thought we should remember this lady's contribution, Raquel Carson. She studied the impact of pesticides on the environment, especially the soil and water and all, and brought out an interesting book called Silent Spring, and then which mobilized the public of the US to protest against the government, and they went onto the streets also asking for clean air, clean water, and everything. And then finally, the government was forced to make a new law and set up new agencies like US Environmental Protection Agency. So there's a lot of advocacy which was brought out by her through her book called Silent Spring. We also can learn a lot. I think some of the students or faculty who are actually doing some project work or internship can also have a look at this biomimicry website. I'll give you the web link. Basically, what we can get inspired, because technology doesn't just come from the human brain. I think you'll have to look around, observe the nature, and then see how insects are working, how butterflies are working, how honeybees are working, and a whole lot of other creatures, and then learn from them what sort of thing is sustainable, what sort of thing will give you more productivity. And this is where biomimicry comes into picture. And then this has like it's almost 4 billion years of research and development from the nature. So we should take advantage of it. So there is a website called asknature.org. The students and faculty can make use of it to get new ideas for their project work, or new ideas for their internship, and then probably do something at their local level, limited area. And then probably in case you have a doubt, there are experts available who can actually help you in finding out strategies and techniques. So this is something which you should also look at. Of course, it's very, very imperative for us to grow economically. You can't perpetually be poor, but it is also important for us to have a proper quality of life. Because higher standard of living doesn't mean that we don't have a good environment. So we first basic right is that we want clean water, we want fresh air, and also a green earth to work on. And this is possible only if you adopt the sustainable development model. Like one example, which always claims, Bhutan claims we are not contributing carbon. Actually, we are actually secreting more carbon than we are producing. And how they do it, I mean, 80% of the country is under green cover. Still, they go for more greenery, and they don't go for money economics in terms of measuring the nation's prosperity. Like we all do gross domestic product, GDP. No, Bhutan talks about GDH, gross domestic happiness. Ultimately, you earn for being happy. So they want to see whether the people are happy, contented, and then they study across 9 domains, which mostly cover the environment-related issues also, and see that how they are doing on the happiness index. If there is a decrease somewhere, they would like to analyze and then give that area more importance. That's the thing. We know this particular quote from Mahatma Gandhi that we have enough for our needs, but not for greed. That's a basic philosophy of sustainability. As we see, the population is increasing. Maybe 80 years back, it was 2.3 billion. Now we have crossed 7 billion, and probably in the next 30 years, it may cross 9 billion. And we have this scenario of impact of industrialization. You can see this is from 1700 to probably 2000. how the global scenario has changed. You see the red color that you are seeing is how the forest area has been brought under either crop or grazing land, because a lot of dairy industry depends on this grazing land. So you'll find a lot of these things have been converted, with the result the temperatures are increasing because the greenhouse gas emissions are also increasing. And natural resources, of course, are not increasing as the population is increasing. So we should remember, when I started my presentation, we said world is one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Our actions have consequences for the entire world. I mean, if you see Viswarupam, I think the Kamal Hassan film says all actions are interconnected in the world. I think that's how the film starts. I say our actions have consequences for the entire world. You may say that we are below poverty line people or underdeveloped, and then we don't consume so much of resources. It's all the developed countries, Europe and America, which are actually spoiling the nature. But every action that we take will have consequences, not only for us, our immediate family, our community, our country, but also to the entire world. One example which can come is the pandemic, which has come the last 2 years, started in a small place in China, and then the entire world got gripped because maybe they're saying food habits or otherwise. This is one website I would like all of you to explore if you are really want to do something, because attending such talks is good. But what next? After attending the talk, are you going to do something more? Are you going to probably take some action? See, all of us have got tremendous awareness. Everybody, if you are given a mic, you'll speak for at least 30-40 minutes on environmental issues and the problems of environment, the consequences of bad environment, and what we should do. But problem is action. People who are aware are not taking action. So this is something which monitors overshootday.org, how human beings are consuming the planet resources every year after year. I think probably last 30-35 years they're doing the monitoring. Now the logic here is, if you are taking either rice, dal or oil from ration shop, there is a quota fixed. If you have a white ration card, 5 kg per person per month or something like that, there is a quota. You can take only that month quota. Supposing February ration I want, only February quota I can take. March again I'll have to go and then take quota from that. So for 12 months there is a prescribed quota. Similarly, in planet Earth we have a quota. Unfortunately, there is no ration card, there is no regulation, there is no sustainable management. So there is a overexploitation which is happening. So some people are actually taking more than what they should, more than what is earmarked. Now, if all the resources are managed sustainably, let us say break even sort of a thing, 365 days, we should be able to take that resource. So what is happening now is, even before 365 days are completed, maybe in the month of August, even July, last year it was in July, by 29 July, we finished the quota. So what we are supposed to consume till 31st December of last year, we finished by 29 July. So what is happening from 30th July 2021 till now, the 28th February, we are actually depending on the quota of 2022. That is our thing. So at this rate, what happens is we'll be needing one more planet Earth. You all know that it's very difficult to get such a planet Earth with all the resources and all. So this is the Earth Overshoot Day, which helps us in monitoring how the resources are being consumed. And there is a campaign which says extend the date. Like 2021, it was 29 July. So can we make it with our actions, extend this date by 15 days or 20 days and make it August, and probably by 2023 make it September, maybe 2024 make it October. So finally by 2030, let us make Earth Overshoot Day will be co-terminus with 31st December. I mean, that's how a sustainable model works. And then, because what happens is whatever we do, even this conference, online, although we're doing it, there's a huge carbon footprint that is happening. So there is a need to mitigate this particular impact that we are creating, the carbon footprint, as we call, with some green actions that we can take. And we will be discussing during the course of my presentation a few green actions that you can take it. First, starting with the food habits. That is easy to do. I mean, the low-hanging fruit, as we call it. Now, as you know, food habits, if you see, we have different categories of species. Herbivore, the one which eats the grass, carnivore, which eats meat, omnivore, which eats both grass and meat. These are all familiar. I mean, but there's another term which is called locavore. This is a new term. If you want to really manage on a sustainable basis, locavore. What is locavore? Locavore is a person who lives on food grains, both vegetarian, non-vegetarian, whatever it is, which is grown within a particular radius of his living, maybe 25 kilometers, so that the huge cost of transportation, huge cost of storage, huge burden on the energy for storing all this, because as you know, we are fruits, for example, if you see, they come from all over the world, and they are actually harvested before they are ripened and then artificially ripened and stored in the cold storage, transported. Everywhere there's a carbon footprint. So do you want to buy such expensive imported fruits or encourage the locally grown fruits and vegetables? So becoming a locavore is what is something which can happen. And second thing, if you are looking at the overshoot day, you'll find a lot of ideas on how you can reduce your food ecological footprint, what you can do to do this, and simple steps. And they say, if by following this, we can advance the or move the date, as they call hashtag, Earth overshoot day by 38 days. If all the 700 crore people follow slight changes in their way they eat food, definitely what type of food they are eating, we can advance. Like I'm saying, if we're saying July 31st, I'm closing this year, maybe next year it will be probably September 1st week, 38 days, just by changing the food habits. And I just wanted to also mention at this particular point of time, we have a lot of these habitats which are being managed in the name of tiger reserves or elephant reserves or corridors, or forests and all. So many times people ask this question, is tiger important or people important? There's always a conflict. And then there is a study done in terms of the contribution of this sustainably managed tiger reserves on the societies, what value they bring in. And this study talks about just 2 tigers. I mean, they have studied about 7-8 tiger reserves, and then number of tigers in that, and then how much of services we are getting from that habitat, ecosystem services, be it water, be it carbon sequestration, be it improving the air quality, the habitat, genetic diversity preservation, a whole lot of ecosystem services. This is 520 crores is what you get return on investment. So they calculated in terms of the total contribution of these tiger reserves, only just tiger reserves in the country, is almost 5.7 lakh crore rupees. And this is basically, you should understand 300, even for our own Hyderabad, you see Krishna water, it comes from the Nallamala forest, the Nagarjuna Sagar Tiger Reserve and Amrabad Tiger Reserve. That's a catchment area after Krishna. So if they are protected, definitely you'll get water on a sustainable basis. And then basically, if we are ignorant of this hidden contribution of the forest, the habitats, we will be always saying, like we have seen in the film Sherdy, that the moment there's a man-animal conflict, always the animal is targeted. It should be eliminated. It should be killed. No, there should be a re-analysis of why the conflicts are happening, and then take measures to prevent such conflicts. So that's a sort of a thing. And then what do you spend? We spend hardly 23 crores and then get 356 times return on that investment in this tiger reserves. You're all familiar with this UN commitment, like this 10 years, like 2021 to 30, throughout the world, people are talking about degraded areas should be restored, 1 billion degraded. That's why the climate crisis can be tackled, and where we can manage these on a sustainable basis. And this ecosystem restoration started the last year on 5th June. Basically, they say 40% of the global population is adversely affected by this. So the campaign is reverse the degradation. Okay, restore the degraded areas, recreate, and that's what it says. And then what it says, how much money is needed. I mean, there's a lot of money. It's not just easy just to restore. You just give a target, I'll do 1 billion hectare restoration. No, you need something like $8 trillion. And then these are all what we talk about required for managing these habitats on a sustainable basis. And then we need to see the impact of these on the public. It's not just restoring the habitat. Once it happens, restoration, what happens? The quality of education, health, employment, all those parameters, they will improve. So that is what is the entire world is now working. These 10 years are very, very important for restoration. And because if the land is degraded, as you know, even farmers are saying yields are coming down in spite of using chemicals. The thing is, once the land, the soil itself is losing its fertility, the productivity comes down. And then you have seen the pandemics coming in a big way when we are tinkering with the other ecosystem. And then, of course, planting of trees is something which is taken as a major activity in all this, and reducing the biotic pressure. But what is happening to the habitat? I think that's what I just want to bring your notice to the report that is published every 2 years by IUCN, the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. It is called a red list. So what they do is they just sample about 3% of the known 18 lakh species, both plants and animals, and monitor them. You will find that one of the reports say 800 of those which are being monitored become extinct within 2 years, and then others 17,000 are threatened, and then probably threatened another 5,500. So alarming situation. We don't even know how many species of plants and animals are there. Estimation is 50 lakh to 3 crore species are there in the world. Before we discover through our Geological Survey of India, Botanical Survey of India, similar such agencies or universities, we are losing the species. And then those which are dependent on water, they are at more risk, like amphibians. And then the major cause is the loss of habitat. That is what we are talking about in the decade that is coming up for restoration of degraded ecosystems. And then what we can do is we can actually prevent this from the extinction by reversing the degradation, by taking up this in a big way. So this is where we have to actually, even if you restore 15%, we can reduce the extinction rate by 60% by improving the habitat. So that's a huge thing. So you may be saying, what is a big deal? So I have got one case study. I'll just tell you what is a big deal about saving the habitat and other animals. See, what we have to do is, what we can do is, whatever has happened, the damage is done. Yeah, everybody's in a crisis. Okay, it doesn't matter. But what is the future? How do we have a sustainable future? So we can at least, with our actions, probably growing trees or going for more green cities. Hyderabad is stated as a green city of the world with so much of greenery coming up. And then cleaning up the rivers, water bodies, and all. There are a lot of activist groups which are working on it. See, there's a new term which is being used these days called eco-anxiety. People are anxious about what is going to happen to my future, whether I'll survive, whether in the 5 years, what happens, the world is going to come and so let us not be in that eco-anxiety mode. Let us be in activist mode, environmentalist activist mode, because once the ecosystems are healthy, we can actually ensure the biodiversity is conserved and give more livelihood to the people, apart from overcoming the climate change problem. And then you can see the 1 billion hectares in the next decade is what is the target. If we achieve it, we can enhance the services that are coming from the forest areas. This is an interesting book. It is available on the web. I will not go into the detail, but those interested academically, you can just see the UNEP website. The ecosystem restoration for people, nature, and climate. It has got several sort of issues which talks about how the impact is happening in the world as we are speaking. Nothing is left. Farmlands, forest, freshwater, grassland, mountains, oceans, urban areas, all are getting impacted. And then there's a crisis which is happening everywhere. Unless we take action, this is going to further aggravate. And the solutions that they're talking about, ecosystem restoration, the impact would be on the, of course, health and our food security, and probably the economy will improve, and climate change mitigation will happen. Most importantly, the water will, example, 81% of cities could reduce sediment or nutrient pollution in the water used by the population by coupling forest protection and restoration with improvement. These are simple solutions which are being done at the country level or at the state government level that can be done. Now, when we're talking about all these ecosystems, we should look at this particular study by Costanza, which was published about 20 years back. First one to do it. What is the service value of all these ecosystems in the world? And it's about $33 trillion. So it is double all the world gross world product put together. So that's a sort of a invaluable contribution being given. But unfortunately, we say 1/3 of it is getting damaged because of the problem of human interference, human overexploitation. We've seen Mahatma Gandhi's quote that we have enough for our need, but not for greed. But greed is actually cutting down on the ecosystem services value. I was in Netherlands to do a course on community forestry. So I went to this particular forest area, Ashoka forest. They've done a study. It's a 5,500 hectares. What they've seen is they've compared the service being rendered by this forest area with the service in terms of economic value coming from the agricultural land nearby. And they found that this forest area, if it is maintained in that fashion, because of various ecosystem services, it is giving 3 times more returns to the society in terms of per hectare value than the agricultural land. And today we're talking about the commitment. Even India committed, we will have this bond challenge, 26 million hectares. And this is where all of us can play a major role. I think some of the foundation like Sadhguru, Jaggi Vasudev Foundation and all, they have done a lot of campaign on this river side planting and all. And our own state in Telangana, we have the Telangana Kartahara, which we started with a target of 230 crore, now with cross 250 crore. And what we are trying to do is probably within the forest area, ensure that the seedlings which are being germinated with the seeds from the trees get established and become. So that's about 80 crore of that. So things are happening on that particular point. And probably Telangana is the only state where we have a law which says that 85% seedlings planted should survive. Otherwise, the concerned people will be taken to task in the municipal area and the panchayat area. We have been hearing about this Miyawaki. I'm not sure whether Ambedkar Open University did experiment with it in its campus or not, but it's worth exploring. Basically, Miyawaki method is in urban areas, urban spaces, less area, you can actually grow more. So this is how, and again, what do you grow? You grow native species, which are in different canopies, maybe herb shrubs and then small trees and big trees. And then you can create within no time. There are a number of examples which have happened even in Telangana. Like we have done several areas, this Miyawaki, and then with good results in degraded areas. And then it's something called a backyard forest. And then there's an engineer. Again, I'm saying people study engineering but become environmental activists or eco-entrepreneurs. Shubhendu Sharma, he was working as an engineer and got inspired by this Miyawaki method, and he resigned his job and set up this particular company called aforest.com. And you can see there you can actually, they will help you in growing this backyard forestry. Their process is fairly simple. Any small area, they will have a 6-step approach, analyze the soil and then see what type of seedlings species should be grown there. And then 3 years they maintain, and then the forest becomes established within that time. And then like shrubs, small trees, medium trees, tall trees, there is a mixture. You can have minimum 4,000 plants per acre. That is how now more than 19,000 Palle Prakruti Vanalu in Telangana are set up at village level using some of these sort of practices of growing. We have seen this particular average number of trees per person. Globally, it is 422. India is at 28. So there is a need. Of course, we have a huge population, but so does China. China average is 130 because they have a major afforestation program going on for the last 30, 40 years. So they are able to increase it. Here in Canada and other places, Greenland, Australia, number of people is less. So that's why you'll have more number of area and more number of per head trees. But here also, we should see that the Indian population, our per capita tree number should increase at least to that extent. Why? Because each tree, if it is allowed to serve us for 50 years, this is a study done about 40 years back, gives you a service of 15.70 lakhs apart from timber and fruit value. What are the services? Oxygen production, soil erosion prevention, or water recycling, or habitat for birds, squirrels, insects. That's what it terms. This is about 40 years back. The recent, if you see, is almost 60 lakh per tree in terms of oxygen, water, and air pollution mitigation services. So you see, if you are having a tree and protecting it, it will give you at least 1 lakh worth of service every year to the entire society. And then there are several of these benefits which we get from the forest areas, which we see some which are tangible. What you see in the red is tangible. What is in blue is intangible. We can't really take care of these, but they provide it. And many places, I think you've seen CIA building was the first building in Madhapur area, which has proved that stress at the workplace has decreased because of the greenery there. And we can see in hospitals and other places, the recovery is better. And then this is something which we should be aware of. As I said, forests give us water. That's a linkage we have seen in the beginning of this presentation. So 1 liter of bottled water may be 20 rupees to maybe 40, 50 rupees or 70 rupees, depending on where you are buying. But these medicated water from the forest area, catchment area, which is well protected, where thousands of liters, it's invaluable service being done. So I was just looking at how different brands are marketing the water. There's a huge trade. You will find like normal water that you and I drink is about 20 liters per water, but you can see there is a brand which is sold at 27,000 rupees per liter. Kona Nigiri, only celebrities, maybe Virat Kohli and others, football players, they try to take this sort of a water. Kona Nigiri, where is the purest area, not polluted. No, you will get that. So different brands have got different rates. So water is being commodified and marketed depending on its purity, and then people are taking this particular buying also because they are more conscious about health. I met this guy, very wonderful guy, 70-year-old Kareem. I went to Kerala as election observer. And then after the declaration of the result, I had time. So I just was looking at the district map of Kasaragod district in Kerala. It's the northernmost portion bordering Karnataka. So Kasaragod district map has got some small area, which is called a man-made forest. So I just went there and met this wonderful guy. What he has done is I think probably about 40 years back, he purchased some 32 acres of land, barren land, red laterite soil, and wanted to plant there and grow a forest so that people from all over the world should come and visit. And then Karim actually had to struggle in the initial 3-4 years to get the plants established. He had to carry water from 2-3 kilometers, and then people were ridiculing him, and then pagal hai to ye pani la raha hai, waste hai. They were telling him make it as plot and then sell it as housing. Why do you want to create forest? Nothing will come. A lot of people discouraged him, but he didn't give up. And today you feel his story is included in the curriculum, school curriculum. Children learn as a local inspirational leader who has created a forest. And when we're talking about water, when Karim purchased that 32 acres, there was a well which was giving 500 liters per day. Today, the same well is giving 1 lakh liters per day. Rainfall in Kerala remains the same, but how we got more even in summer is because of the catchment area treatment that has happened. Most of the plants Karim planted, and most of the plants which are there were brought in by other animals, and they came. Today, the Parappa area in Kerala, Kasaragod, looks like this. Small contribution by one single man. And he even bottles every year season water, and then says this is a pure water without any chemicals, and then with medicated plants, it has become very pure and not for sale. And he actually gives this water to the local villagers who ridiculed him when he was actually giving them this watering the plants and then growing them. So Karim, you want to know more about him, just go to YouTube, type Karim Forest, you will get plenty of his good works. Now coming to Ambedkar Open University. Now all of you know UGC has issued guidelines. I hope some of you would have read it. It says all higher educational institutions should adopt a SATAT framework. SATAT is persistent and constant. You should always be doing sustainable and eco-friendly campus development. This is what is mandated by the UGC. And then what you were supposed to do with the higher educational institutions is use water and energy more efficiently and minimize waste, and bring in overall economic efficiency. And if you want to know how to go about it, kindly look into the UGC website. You will find the framework for eco-friendly and sustainable campus development in higher education institutions. A lot of directions are given. I mean, they're not spoon feeding you because academic institutions are supposed to excel beyond. No, you learn something and do 3 times more than that. So this is a SATAT framework. I request you to have a look at it and then see how much of it already, a part of it greenery wise, I think university campus work has been done. But the other issues on energy, water, transport, can you do something and then report to that? I'm saying this because a lot of people ask me, because you are a forest officer, you always talk about protecting forest and wildlife and things like that. But as Indian Constitution prescribes certain fundamental duties. You can see in the Article 51 AG, which says that if you are an Indian citizen, you shall protect and improve the environment, which includes forest, water bodies, and wild animals, and also to have compassion for all living creatures. That is what is the fundamental duty. So if we can make your students and everyone realize this, that is it's one of our fundamental duties to protect and improve. I think a lot of things can be done. These are some inputs which has come to me from my niece, Pratyusha, who has done a post-graduation in UK and came back just asking her what are the things which can be done by students or faculty. So she has given me these 3 points in terms of doing a sustainable audit. So sustainable audit can be at individual level, at organization level. So we start with individual level for around what all we are using every day, week, month, and then maintain that particular diary. And then what is the wastage that is happening? So let us understand our consumption pattern. I've seen the overshoot day also, you have got several of these things happening. How do you extend the day? So sustainable audit at individual level, at organization level. If you can do it, make note of things, what is happening, how much wastage, how much garbage, how much waste is being really sent to dustbin. And whether we are consuming, whether we are buying more than what we need, that is our. Second thing is, are there substitutes? Are there more eco-friendly sort of a things which can be consumed, which are less intensive on the climate? And we can't really change all at once. And then we can say food choices. I always say that if you're a non-vegetarian, is it possible for you to reduce your consumption of the meat and then become more vegetarian? And no, so that the impact on the climate would be positive. Because that's what the report says. Almost one report says 18% greenhouse gas emissions come from only the dairy industry, which is there. So, and always you question yourself why you are making that particular choice of food, and then probably make some change. So you at a particular level, you can do it. And also not just look at, as I said, sustainability is about future generation also. So let us have a long-term planning. And what would be more affordable? Sometimes we talk about vegan, no? You can say the food is more expensive, but again, you can see sometimes you can cut down if we can probably aggregate the demand and then buy in bulk, and then probably create a group of like-minded people, and then you will have that at less rate, and then we can go for such items which are more friendly to the environment. This is something which you can think of. But sometimes people will ask me this question. I'm just a person, my Buddhiman Balak hu, but others are not. And then how is it going to help? But just remember that millions of people taking small actions can definitely make a big impact. I just give quickly a few individuals who have done and then conclude the presentation. This man is inspirational. I think a lot of films have been made about him also. A forest man, Jadhav Payong. He's from Assam. He single-handedly created 1,360 acres of forest. How did it happen? Maybe 40 years back, the Brahmaputra flood was there, and he saw a lot of snakes dying, and then he went to the forest department, sought their help to get some seedlings, and started planting, because he thought if shade is there, snakes will not die of this sunlight. So over a period of time, he got married, got children, he stayed there, he did not leave that. And today, 1,360 acres is the forest area. You can see in the Google map in Brahmaputra riverside in Jorhat, created by Jadhav Payong, who is given the title of Forest Man of India. And today, where snakes died earlier, animals are coming and staying. Even elephants are coming and staying there. And that is how this Jadhav Payong did a great job. And this particular 16-year, he started this whole process when he was a teenager, and then is quite inspirational. And our own state, Telangana, when I joined the service, I saw this man, Ramaya. He was on a cycle and always collecting seeds and then raising seedlings. And he was passionate. He was only saying that we need more trees, we need more trees. That's all, single point agenda. Whatever may happen. You can see he has put things around his head, all made by him, written by him from the waste material. And his wife helps him because he can't hear properly. So she helps in interpretation and all. And he has done tremendous work. He got Padma Shri also. And when I think 10 years back, when I joined the academy, we brought him to inspire many other people. And then he even participated in the COP11 international conference, and then brought back to the limelight. This group is an interesting engineering college students. Again, I'm saying Ambedkar Open University students are Open University, but doesn't matter. You are still student. If you can see, these engineering college students from Guru Nanak Engineering College, they went to Nehru Zoological Park in Hyderabad and didn't like things there. So people are teasing animals, throwing plastic, feeding wild animals. And so they approached me and said, "Uncle, what can be done? You please tell somebody in the zoo to take care." I said, "The zoo has got limited number of people and thousands of visitors are there. So can you do something about it by being a volunteer?" So that's how they came to me, and I said, not one or two, you should have at least 10, 15. So he somehow got 20 people, like-minded people to come in. We took them to the zoo in next 2 days, and then the Jew volunteer program started, which has now become very successful. It is part of the national Jew policy also. These people have contributed tremendously. That's why they started as ARPF. And then today it's a big corporate company type NGO, which is happening. And this man is managing indoor Jew. He's an engineer, but he left that job and managing the indoor Jew in Madhya Pradesh now. And a lot of animals contribution. We know about Ramayana, the squirrel and things like that. But the thing is, there are other, it does a lot of seed collection and then storage and seed dispersal even now, and maybe an important component in a food chain. And I'll just give you this an example, which I always like, because I found recall value for this case study is very high, even in the illiterate group also. Because everybody is familiar with birds, everybody has seen the birds, everybody has taken them for granted. Some people enjoy watching birds, some people feel the birds are harming us and then we should shoo them away and things like that. So whether they are friends and foes, we don't know. This is, of course, our state bird, Palapitta, blue jay. There is a cousin of this blue jay, which is Eurasian jay. So this case study is a simple one, was from Sweden, Stockholm. What this scientists have done is, this particular bird is actually staying in this forest, 655 hectares of forest. It will actually take the seed of the oak, the acorn as we call it, and then dig the soil and then put it down, and then maybe it will take some insects out and then probably help in pollination. A lot of services this bird does. And the scientists said, supposing this bird becomes extinct, and you have to get this work done by people like you and me, or engaging machines, how much does it cost? And you'll be surprised that replacement cost of this bird, the study says, is almost 6.2 million per annum, which is, if you're converting into rupees, maybe 37 crores per annum in just 5,500 hectares area. These services, which are seed dispersal, pollination, pest regulation. So monthly 3 crore rupees is what you are supposed to pay salary to these birds to get this sort of a service done, and they are doing it free of cost. You know, because they are actually saving the acorn, the seed, for a later day when the food is not there, they want to eat, but they don't remember where they have dug. So if they are planting 100 trees, maybe they take 3 or 4, the rest of them become trees. So that's how the bird is doing a lot of service. And this is the importance which we can see. I mean, another great king is Ashoka. Everybody from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, when we ask who planted trees by roadside, take his name, because he was the first to also enact a law for preservation of wildlife and environment. And then he brought a lot of diverse species to the avenue plantation. But when we're talking about road expansion, we find there's a lot of tree cutting going on. Translocation, of course, is being promoted now. But what is the value of these avenue trees? If you see, in Canada, they have done this in Toronto, Greenbelt, almost 1,200 crores worth. So idea of this putting a value on these services is that people want to divert that area. They know what is the cost, benefit, risk analysis will be much more. So you can see there's a report which talks about the contribution of this on climate regulation, climate flood control, pollination, habitat, all these things. So it is contributing. Closer to Hyderabad, this is run by the HMDA, the plantations. So the study was done in Greenbelt. When avenue plantation, the contribution, how it is helping in mitigation of the pollution, maybe suspended particulate matter, NO2 or CO, and sound and temperature. So this is a study which has been done. So we find all this green belt in Hyderabad area now. Today, Hyderabad is a green city. EPTRS study says everywhere there is an improvement in terms of the quality of life that we as citizens of Hyderabad enjoy because of this green belt. So it is up to us to ensure that these trees are not felled, not nurtured. You should nurture them and also ensure they grow. And there are a lot of areas in which you can focus as individuals. Maybe when we started our network of environmentalists way back in 2008 or 2009, 2009, I think it started almost 30 years back. We identified these areas, which is energy conservation, which could be starting from LPG, diesel, petrol, electricity. Low-hanging fruit for us was electricity because it was very easy to reduce the electricity consumption by just being aware, by being conscious. In many places, we could bring down the electricity bill by 30%, 40% by just advocating the consciousness. So don't use it when you don't need it. That was a simple principle. And the PCRA, an organization, has helped in the public campaign there. Similarly, water conservation, maybe whatever water comes from the sky, we preserve it both above the ground and below the ground. So the water bodies and at community level, harvesting the rainwater, conscious use of reducing water wastage, all those things were brought in, and many lakes were cleaned up also. And of course, segregation of the waste, we promoted. Well thought of waste was the scheme then. And concept of reducing, reusing and recycling was brought in. Later on, water bodies, we said replenishing and restore also was added. Of course, tree planting and protecting the planted trees was also one of the major things. And composting the kitchen waste and all, and promoting organic farming. Today, most of the guys who started work with us have become now entrepreneurs and then in active field in this. I'll just show you some visuals, nothing much to do. This is some lake, Gurnadam Cheru in Mayapur, which we started in 2009 to clean up. And you can see a lot of habitations all around. And this was a dumping ground and a lot of water bodies. We mobilized our people. This is a team, including as Hyderabad Public School student who also came in. And later on, he became an environmentalist also. His name is Aditya. A very, very diverse group. People from Infosys, people from engineering college, students, a lot of them have come. State Bank of India came back and to adopt the bund of the lake with a plantation. We further spread to other lakes in the coming years. And then when I met 6 years later, this group at Madinaguda Lake, I found most of them started their journey at Gurnadam Cheru. And they got fascinated with it. And even after completing education and all, they were actually continuing in the field of environment. So that's the power of the students' commitment. Once they come to the place, it doesn't matter. You may be 2 people, you may be 4 people, it may be 5 people. But most important is you take action. Then others will follow and join. So these are the people who actually, they were all degree first year, second year students. And then 6 years later, they're still cleaning up lakes. One of the guys from Google, Arun Krishnamurthy, he resigned his job and then set up EFI. And now he's working in Pondicherry, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, cleaning up hundreds of lakes. So that's what happened. This is again a professor like you and me. I mean, those who are there, Hassan, Karnataka, what he has made within 5 years in his own native village. He is talking about a BCRT, Biodiversity Conservation and Research Trust. On marriage day, newly married couple will be planting. So this is made that. His name is Malali Gowda. And he has actually, he was in Gujarat when that 26 January earthquake occurred. And then he said, Mother Earth is unhappy. I should make her peaceful, happy. So he just set up that BCRT in 2001. And then part of his amount, whatever he is having in Anuganalu village, he has set up this particular thing. And then he is continuing to do that. He will have Vanamotsava, means in the hills itself, people go and plant, mobilize the people for planting. And then in the schools and all, encourages people to plant on one day. So one individual, this is a guy, Malali Gowda. Now he is working in Bangalore Institute of Bioinformatics and Applied Biotechnology. You can just have a look at his profile and then see what he can do. He was passionate, so he started at least making some difference and to combat the climate change. This lady, she wanted to get married on Earth Day because she was very pro-environment. So Priyanka is the name, from Madhya Pradesh. So when their in-laws asked what's the jewelry or cash she wants, because Sridhana, something was to be given. She said, I don't want any cash or any jewelry. Give me 10,000 saplings as wedding gift. 10,000 saplings should be planted at my residence area, my village, as well as my in-laws village. So she was not partial. So she requested that, everybody is happy, and she planted with that. Now we've seen this sort of a thing in Miyawaki. This was done by the Forest Corporation in Peddapalli area, Ramagundam. Within barren area, absolutely no thing, and today it has become a forest and then a lot of trees. Closer home, our botanical garden, what was once a quarry site, has been transformed with that sort of a greenery. So everywhere, restoration of the habitat is very, very important, which will help us in improving the quality of life and improve our health also. And that's where we can think of simple things like when you are doing a rangoli in front of your house and then you want to throw some grain, some food. You're all aware that a food chain starts, then a food pyramid is there. So ultimately at the top of the food pyramid, we are there, so we can get benefited. If you start doing this, you'll find the increased activity of maybe several birds around your thing. And yeah, we did a campaign almost 12 years back. Still, the campaign is sustained, where we're asking people keep some water on the terrace, and then some grains you can throw, so that summertime birds get something, so they can serve us a little longer. Like this is what has happened last year, where a lot of people have put water, grains, and different strategic locations, so that we will extend the life of the birds. If they get water and food, probably they serve the society for a little longer. And as again, I'm just concluding with Gandhiji's quotation. What we do and what we're capable of doing. I mean, if you just analyze, all of us are capable of doing much, much more, but actually we do less. Maybe because of several issues, maybe a lack of time, lack of inclination, lack of support, or lack of probably knowing where to work. But if we can realize our true potential, definitely we'll be able to ensure a sustainable future for our next generations as well. And our one concrete action that can make a difference in this whole scenario is yours. So I thought on this World Science Day, if all of us pledge to do something, whatever you are passionate about, given the different areas, energy conservation, water conservation, and green planting, waste segregation, you can, any area which you feel will have a positive impact, you can start in a small way, so that we can leave the world in a better place than we have arrived. And that's what I have to say. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. And if there are any questions, I would be more than happy. This is my email ID, IT for DSS. You can actually be in touch with me in case you need any other help or suggestion or networking opportunity. We'll definitely do that. Okay. Thank you so much for your patience. Now I just open it for questions. Anybody in the or from the head office unit of Ambedkar Open University, if you want to take over.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, for Raghuvir Garu, for your wonderful and very elaborative lecture. The lecture is not only interesting, but more motivating and inspiring also. But as you said, we all talk about the environment issues and we feel sad about it. But coming to the action, it is not that up to satisfactory. I think a little more motivation is needed to the society, entire society, by people like you, so that the students or somebody is in the society, from the society, will come forward to take up the issues. So as you said, regarding the UGC guidelines, the eco-friendly and sustainable campus, even our Vice Chancellor is very much interested to make our campus eco-friendly and sustainable. So in future, so soon you're going to see our campus like that. Sure. So thank you very much. Regarding the Akaira Miyawaki, sir, that is what you said. I don't know exactly whether it is in the university campus or not, but definitely we will explore about that. We will definitely make it a point to see that it should be in the university, sir. Yeah. And thank you very much. You have touched upon the global scenario also. And you have given some case studies, very interesting and inspirational case studies. So thanks for the wonderful lecture, sir. We look forward to see you in future also. But as you said, our actions have the consequences for the entire world. So now I request the audience for your queries or any. If you want anybody wants to talk something, you can just ask. The sir is here.
Please, all of you, anyone can unmute, you can speak if you have any queries regarding the lecture.
Somebody raised their hand. Who is that? Yeah. So if nothing is there, I request Koteshwar Rao for vote of thanks.
Yeah, good afternoon all. Happy National Science Day. I deemed it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks in this special occasion. First and foremost, I and on behalf of Faculty of Science, thank our Vice Chancellor for allowing us and encouraging us to conduct like these programs in our faculty and departments. We convey our a special thanks to today's speaker, Sri P. Raghuveer Garu. Such a good lecture and wonderful lecture, thought-provoking. Very much thank you, sir. And I thank Registrar, Director Academic, Dean Faculty of Science, and other directors, deans, teachers, non-teaching staff, and participants. We thank all of you for participating in this program. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, Praveen, you wanted to say something.
Sir,
Yeah, that's right.
please unmute, sir. Please
I'm
unmute.
sorry for speaking after the vote of thanks. Let me first thank the Ambedkar Open University for arranging such a beautiful lecture. And thanks, Raghuveer. And with the entire lecture, I've got one word, that locavore. I really like that word, locavore. And I think really that is the need of the hour as on date. So I'm getting this particular word today, and I'm really thankful to you. And I also thank Ambedkar University for organizing such a knowledge-provoking and thought-provoking lectures. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We'll be looking forward in future also.
Yeah, we'll continue our association. Absolutely. No issue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks, everybody.